Stocks see a broad recovery after the sharp sell-off yesterday. FMCG and consumer durables are the big gainers, while capital goods and industrials are the weak links.
Stocks of FMCG, consumer goods, two-wheelers, IT and healthcare players clock gains as investors make a defensive shift. Brokerages too adopt a cautious stance on pricey capex-driven stocks.
Crude, metals and bullion see a further decline, leading to falls of 5 to 9% in the week. Rising inventories and concerns over slowing growth add fuel to geopolitical concerns.
The spokesperson for the Telugu Desam party tells CNBC-TV18 that the centre's support will be needed to build the state's capital and boost the state's health. The Janata Dal United Party member dismisses demands for rail or deputy PM for his chief as media gossip.
Hello and welcome. You're watching us here on CNBC-TV18 HDFC Sky Election Headquarters. I'm Manglam Malu. With me is Sonal Bhutra. It's the morning after, the day after, and it looks like there is recovery from the lows. To what extent it lasts and to what extent we build onto these gains are a question that we'll get the answers to only once there is clarity on what happens in Delhi.
Oh, that's the big talking point, right? And it's been quite volatile since morning. And just a while back, we had that conversation with the JDU and TDP spokespersons, and both of them said that they stick with the NDA. What happens towards the end is something that only time will tell. But for now, the Nifty is up 421 points. It has come off from the highs of the day. But nevertheless, after the fall that we saw yesterday, this is something that investors would like. Mid-caps are outperforming with gains of 2.7%, and the Bank Nifty is contributing to the gains that we are seeing, 1.5% higher there. Mostly all the sectoral indices in the green, and FMCG, what a move there, Manglam. Of course, we'll discuss that in greater detail as well.
We will. In fact, for the FMCG space, it was always ripe for an up move. The election results only proved to be a bit of a trigger for that up move to come by, as everyone looked at flight to safety and perhaps some more softs coming in for consumption itself. But like we said, more on that in just a bit. As of now, the market looks like it's stabilizing, trying to find its feet at levels, just under where we were before we started the rally for, the exit poll, and thereafter the decline that we saw. It was closer to 22,488 where the Nifty was just before the rally for the exit poll, and the subsequent fall yesterday took place. Let's see where it goes, because the market will now be keenly looking out for outcomes from the NDA and Indy Alliance meetings later today. Politics, as they say, is the art of the possible. So Parikshit joins in to tell us what's on the cards and what's a possibility. Parikshit.
You're very right when you say politics is the art of the possible, and that's exactly what the India Alliance is counting on. And they are confident that they will make overtures to both Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu, make them solid offers and have a go at government formation, or at least make sure that things are not very easy for the NDA alliance. So what's happening in New Delhi currently? The entire nation's eyes are on New Delhi. There is an important cabinet meet underway. There would be stock taking of what's happened in the election as the result came out. Losses for the BJP in states like Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Rajasthan, and there has been quite a bit of loss all across the country. Having said that, we expect the cabinet to recommend the dissolution of the House to the President of India. So that is one part of the meetings. You've got leaders like Nitish Kumar who are reaching Delhi now any moment. In fact, we believe that Nitish Kumar will be speaking at his residence in New Delhi, 6 Kamraj Lane, in another 45 minutes from now. That will be a very crucial soundbite, because he will, first of all, give a sense of where he stands on the performance of the NDA, and he'll clear the air on any doubts on whether the JDU is with the NDA or not. But for the moment, all spokespersons of the JDU have said that we fought this election with the NDA and we stand with the NDA, and it will be a NDA government that would be formed. The TDP chief, Chandrababu Naidu, has already spoken in Andhra Pradesh that he stands with the NDA, and they will be forming a government at the centre and in Andhra Pradesh. He's reaching Delhi at 2:30 p.m. 4 o'clock is that crucial NDA meeting at the Prime Minister's residence, 7 RCR or Lok Kalyan Marg, as it is called. You'll have all the NDA leaders there. There will be discussions on government formation, and we expect the government to move very fast. It's quite possible that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, and the key leaders within the BJP may want to move within a day or so on government formation and the swearing-in ceremony as well. At the same time, you've got leaders like Sanjay Raut of the Shiv Sena, Arvind Sawant of the Uddhav Bal Thackeray faction. They are reaching Delhi. Supriya Sule, Sharad Pawar of the NCP have already reached New Delhi as well. Abhishek Banerjee from the TMC is here. All of them will get together for an India bloc meeting at Mallikarjun Kharge's residence at Rajaji Marg in New Delhi. That's at 6 p.m. this evening. So 4 o'clock is one crucial meet at the Prime Minister's residence. 6 o'clock is the other opposition meeting at the residence of the Congress President. All eyes on these two meetings. What is the messaging after that? We'll have to wait and see. There's also a dinner that the President is hosting at the Rashtrapati Bhavan for the outgoing Council of Ministers. This is more of a formality. One thing that we'd like to add for our viewers, that the Rashtrapati Bhavan is now closed for visitors for at least the next 2 to 3 days. And this gives a sense that government will move on formation and oath taking very, very soon to really avoid any kind of trouble by the opposition.
Oh, absolutely, Parikshit. Crucial hours going ahead, and of course we'll keep coming back to you for more updates in this one. So important meetings lined up at 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. as Parikshit just mentioned. Moving on to Maharashtra now, where 6 parties were in the fray, and it was one of the key battleground states in this election. The alliance of Shiv Sena, UBT, Congress and Sharad Pawar led NCP 130 seats. My colleague Santya spoke to Arvind Sawant, Shiv Sena UBT leader, who reiterated that Uddhav Thackeray will never go back to NDA.
The way they have deteriorated, tried to deteriorate our images, the attack they have made on the Thackeray family itself, on entire Shiv Sena. They wanted to devastate the Shiv Sena. It's not the new thing, in 2014 by-election, or not assembly election. After the Lok Sabha election, the assembly election was conducted. There they took a stand. Immediately they broke the alliance. Why people are asking questions to us? Why they did not ask the question to them when they broke the alliance in 2014? And there also, they tried it. There, hidden agenda is what? Shatapratishat Bhajapa. That's the agenda.
To go after regional parties.
Agenda, they keep it in mind. And whoever supports them, eventually they are being perished. They are devastated.
Right.
So look at the ADMK. What is the position now? Look at the Akali Dal. What is the position now? Look at the Maharashtra Gomantak Party. Where are they?
The tendency of going after regional parties you are referring to?
Has got a very firm roots. That's the reason the Shiv Sena could stand up. And the way Honorable Uddhavji Thackeray has stood in front of this, the courage which he has shown, the attack which he has made against the top leaders of the country.
Yeah.
And that has proved that he blatantly went on campaigning.
So he's going to be a part of India Alliance and no chance of going back to
Not
NDA?
at all. We don't backstab anyone. It's not our history.
It's
not our history.
That's lovely, sir.
Whether we lose, win, but once we give the word, we keep the words. And this is not the history of our friends. That is what the difference between then and now.
Now, it is a hypothetical situation, but there's a massive possibility that it might happen if those people who left you in 2022, if they make calls and if they want to come back.
I don't think.
Not even the MLAs?
So. Our Shiv Sainik will not like it at all. Those who are not only backstabbed, they left the party, still we could have tolerated it. Okay, and anybody wants to leave the party, it's okay. They tried to grab the party. Not only tried, they succeeded with the support of the government. The ruling party, the corrupt election commissioner.
So no more ghar wapsi for your post.
They have snatched your name of the party and the symbol to which Vandaniya Hindu Hriday Samrat Balasaheb Thackeray is to worship.
Right.
Worship it.
Right.
And that is what the attachment, the you can say bonding with the symbol.
Absolutely.
And still some of the time, by mistake maybe, but the people still call that old symbol.
Yeah.
Why it is? Because 25 years it has gone into our heart, it will be there in our blood. But you backstab it. And with that conspiracy, we have snatched our name, symbol. How can we go with the people who are so treacherous?
Right.
They are the traitors. We cannot believe on such. Once you experience, the fire is there, It is going to burn your hands. Why to try again and experiment the same thing again and again?
So important statements for you, sir. First, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray is not going to go back to NDA, and no ghar wapsi for those who left you in 2022.
For power here. We are not the party for begging for the power. Okay. We are the party which formed for the socio-economic developments. We are the party which doesn't believe in the casteism, linealism. We believe in contribution of India. We believe in oneness, right, which is not this time. Since the beginning of the party, inception of the party. Vandaniya Balasam that time also said he was deadly against the casteism.
Talking about India and India alliance, sir, Congress has done wonderfully well in Maharashtra. Do you think, first, who do you attribute, which factor do you attribute this victory of Congress to? And do you think the sympathy wave from Mr. Thackeray and Mr. Pawar helped Congress also?
It worked out. It's not only sympathy wave. Never ever think of only sympathy wave. Okay. They have a regards for them. The way Honorable Uddhavji has worked during the COVID pandemic.
Right.
The way he has saved the life of the people of Maharashtra.
People remember that you're saying.
Honorable Sharad Pawar is standing at this age. The people have a faith in them. They are the true politicians and they are the true people who belong to Maharashtra. That belonging is not with the other people. They have some different agendas, different politics. You are a slave for the central government. The state government is a slavery for the central government. Whatever they dictate, they should follow. And that is not we can say the system of the Confederation of India. We believe in confederation. That confederation is not there. And that is what the difference between them. And Congress did well, definitely. They were one last time. Today they are 11, 13.
And they're the single largest party in Maharashtra right now.
It is because of the Mahavikas Aghadi. We must believe it. I too have one. It is because of Mahavikas Aghadi. I cannot say only because of Shiv Sena I have one. We work, the way we have campaigned and worked together, amalgamation was there. Not only joining, it was amalgamation. And that amalgamation has given us this.
Right, sir. Now, Lok Sabha is over. What about state assembly elections, sir? Our preparation, have you guys started preparing already?
So soldiers are always on tools. Nothing new for us. And this time you will realize that also in Maharashtra.
So you are
by that time people must have realized, those who have made mistakes, they realize what sort of conspiracies, what sort of game these people play. And all those games have been overcome now. Now by the experience people will realize more and more. And Shiv Sena will bloom in the future elections. Think of it, why they have not conducted Mumbai Municipal Corporation election. Out of 6, we were 5. The last election, we still have a doubt about it. The defeat of Abol Kartik.
Very small margin. Yeah.
There must be something wrong. There must be, I say. There must be something wrong. 48 votes you lose. Yeah. But the man was won and later on you win because of that postal ballot. They must have done something. I really doubt about it. I really doubtful.
Right, that was an interesting conversation with the three-time winner MP Arvind Sawant from the South Mumbai constituency. Two key takeaways from that conversation. The first one, of course, is that Uddhav Thackeray will not be partnering with the NDA. And the second one, all those who left the former Shiv Sena to form a faction under Eknath Shinde will not be welcomed back into the current Shiv Sena under Uddhav Thackeray. And the word that he used out there was traitors for them. So, interesting conversation there, and like we said, it's all politics which is in focus. So let's move on. The TDP chief Chandrababu Naidu, who is on his way to the NDA meeting in New Delhi, said that they are firmly with the NDA. We caught up with the national spokesperson of the TDP earlier, who said that the centre's support will be needed to build the state's capital and boost the state's health. Listen into that conversation as well.
We are part and parcel and an integral part of NDA. And we are going to be a very crucial partner in NDA. And we are going to work for the betterment of the state of Andhra Pradesh and also for the betterment of our country, India. When you are a partner in a particular alliance, there would be no conditions as such. It should be always a win-win situation for all the partners. And, as we earlier quoted also, for us, the rights and the development in the state of Andhra Pradesh is very, very important for us. That's the reason we have come into the coalition. We have to have a very strong and a world-class capital for the state of Andhra Pradesh. And we would require centre's support in that. Earlier also, in 2014 to 2019 term. Initially, Mr. Prime Minister Sri Modi ji was the one who was, laid the foundation stone for Amaravati. So we definitely want to have a very strong capital. That's our first and foremost thing. Mr. Chandrababu Naidu Garu has been one of the most senior and seasoned politician in our country. So he has given, he is his, I think we call him the visionary leader. So he has got a lot of vision for the state, a lot of vision for the country. And that was what I meant when I said inputs. He put forward Vision 2047 for the state as well as the country earlier. I think last year we have got it.
Okay, that's not it. Let's move on to BJP's other big ally, the JDU. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar will also play a pivotal role in the next government formation after his Janata Dal United won 12 seats in the state. JDU spokesperson Arvind Nishad tells CNBC-TV18 that they will remain a part of the NDA, dismisses demands for rail or deputy PM for his chief as media gossip. Listen in.
मेरी जानकारी में तो ऐसी कोई अभी कोई कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम जैसी कोई बातें नहीं आई है। आज शाम में 4:30 बजे एनडीए गठबंधन दल में शामिल सभी नेताओं की बैठक दिल्ली में होने जा रही है। इस बैठक में जो मुद्दे उभर करके आएंगे और इस बैठक में हमारी पार्टी की ओर से क्या रुख अपनाया जाता है, इसके बाद इस विषय पर हम लोग कोई ज्यादा बातचीत करेंगे तो फ्रूटफुल होगा। लेकिन मेरी जानकारी में अभी कोई ऐसी विषय नहीं आया है और एनडीए में सभी काम आम राय सहमति से होते आया है, चाहे वो अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी का दौर हो या अभी नरेंद्र मोदी जी के जमाने में। जब कोई ऐसी बातें होगी तो जेडीयू और हमारे शीर्ष नेता आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार जी इस पर कोई अंतिम निर्णय, अंतिम फैसला करेंगे। अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी के जमाने में आदरणीय नीतीश कुमार जी रेल विभाग को चलाया है और रेल विभाग को चलाया ही नहीं है बल्कि अच्छे तरीके से रेल विभाग में उन्होंने काम किया है। मैं पुनः इस बात को कह रहा हूं कि जिस बात को लेकर के आपने जो सवाल खड़ा किया, मीडिया गॉसिप है कि जेडीयू रेलवे मिनिस्ट्री चाहती है, ऐसी कोई बातें नहीं है। शर्तबाजी के आधार पर जेडीयू काम नहीं करती है। जेडीयू हमेशा बिहार और देश के लिए, देश की उन्नति, प्रगति, विकास के लिए काम हमेशा किया है। हम आगे भी जेडीयू और नीतीश कुमार जी देश, उन्नति, समाज, बिहार, राष्ट्र की प्रगति के लिए काम करते रहेगी। मैं इतना आपको जरूर आश्वस्त करता हूं।
Okay, all right. With that, we'll do one thing. We'll slip into a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about markets as well. There's a lot happening on the back of these comments. Stay tuned for that.
Welcome back. The Nifty is, now holding with gains of almost 450 points. When we started the show, it was slightly lesser gain. It was gaining indeed, but now it's picking up pace once again, closing in towards that 22,400 mark. So as we speak about it, a lot is happening. The mid-cap end is abuzz. All the rural-facing stocks are doing extremely well as well. And the commercial vehicle space, say, case in point, something like an Ashok Leyland 2 has moved higher as well. But let's talk about the elections and the impact that these election results have had on the way brokerages are looking at the market and the view on sectors that they should be bullish on. Sonal standing by now. She's gone across the wall, compiled the list of what all brokerages are making of these election results. Sonal.
Well, the views are diverse. So let me get started with Jefferies first up, because they say that Mr. Modi losing simple majority was unexpected, something that everyone's been talking about. Base case, however, remains that coalition government that will come by will be led by Prime Minister Modi. Continue to believe in housing-led capex upcycle, but the stock market will demand a proof again. They think large cap laggards will offer the best risk reward right now, and they do have overweight on private banks, consumer staples, auto OEMs, but they've cut their overweights on real estate, which was a big bet for them, industrials and PSUs as well. Let's move on to CLSA, because now from conviction they've moved on to doubt. They say that they've replaced L&T with HCL Tech in their India-focused portfolio. Exposure to Modi stocks like ONGC and Reliance Industries is limited in their portfolio, but they do fear derating of expensive discretionary and capex space, and they prefer valuation support in private banks from here on. UBS says after a weak political outcome, they believe investors will focus on a couple of things now. The first one will be the government formation and the choice of Prime Minister, considering that BJP doesn't have majority now. The policy choices to support growth from here on, ensuring macro stability as well, the reform narrative going forward, and they remain underweight on India in the emerging markets context. Morgan Stanley says that BJP is falling short of majority, but their base case is that the BJP-led NDA is likely to form the next government. They are not so worried, and that's why their medium to long-term view does not change on Indian markets. But two key debates from this election outcome from here on. Will the pace or directions of reform slow or change? According to them, that is unlikely. And the second is, will the focus on macro stability that has informed government policy change from here on? So these are two questions that they have on this particular change that has come by. Bernstein says that they believe that continuity of power is powerful enough narrative to support the economy from here on. They also haven't changed their stance. The Nifty target remains at 23,500. They expect high single-digit return on the Nifty. They also say financials remain their key overweight, but they have selective picks across all the categories, and they remain underweight on small and mid caps versus the large caps. HDFC now, they say negative electoral results would lead to valuation correction. They remain positive on financials like a lot of other brokerages as well. They expect industrials and select PSUs to witness a contraction of multiples. So industrials and PSUs, that's where the major fear is. Lastly, let's talk about MK. They see Narendra Modi returning as the PM, but in changed circumstances. They switch from PSUs and capital goods to now FMCG and buy Indian equities if Nifty falls below the 20,000 mark. They go overweight on FMCG, IT, healthcare at the cost of industrials again, and their Nifty target is cut to 22,000 versus 24,000 earlier. Goldman Sachs too, they stay overweight on India, favor domestic sectors, and raise staples on a likely rural support from here on, so watch out for rural stocks as well.
All right, we will indeed watch out for rural stocks. In fact, all things rural and consumption doing extremely well. Value consumption also itself is doing extremely well. So we have a big move that we're seeing on names like V-Mart Retail, Trent, which of course now has been, the brand ambassador of value retail through Zudio, is rallying up around 7.5% for Trent. And we're also seeing a decent traction on names like Bector Foods, Jyoti Labs, as well as some other names like Bikaji. All of these, not the first rung FMCG companies, but doing extremely well on the delta shift that is taking place in the large cap FMCG names itself. Though it's interesting that there has been a big turnaround of events for some of these Adani Group names as well. So Adani Ent, for instance, is among the bigger gainers this hour. It's recovered about 9% from lows, sitting with a gain of about 1.5%. But remember, after a big correction that it saw yesterday, maybe it's finding its feet. Same is the case for something like Adani Ports, which is up around 10% from the lows. But talking about individual stocks now, Angel One is one which is buzzing in trade today on the back of a good business update that came in for the month of May. Vamakshi joins in with details there. Vamakshi.
Well, absolutely, Mangalam. A very good update coming in from the company. When I look at the gross client acquisitions this time around, they stand at 8.8 lakh. This is an uptick of almost 15.8% only on a month-on-month basis. And this is important because this is the first time since December 2023 that their gross client acquisition has actually picked up month-on-month. And in fact, it seems like there has been some good traction from their IPL sponsorship. Resultantly, their client base, which stands at 2.38 crores, has seen an uptick of almost 3.7% month-on-month. The average daily turnover has also seen an uptick of almost 4.5%. This has risen month-on-month after 2 consecutive quarters of decline. So again, an improvement is what we're seeing out here as well. Not just that, the market share gains have also improved for the company. Equity market shares now stands at 19.2%. This is a significant 80 basis points jump only on a month-on-month basis. And not just that, F&O market share also has improved by around the same amount, 80 basis points month-on-month to 20.6%. And with this, the company has managed to arrest the decline in market share that was being seen in the F&O segment in the past 2 quarters. Apart from that, when I look at commodity market share, that has seen a downtick in the of around 40 basis points month-on-month and now stands at 57.2%. But nevertheless, it's a good set of numbers that have come through from Angel One in terms of gross client addition as well as the market share gains. And as a result, the stock is surging in trade today.
Okay, all right. So that's about a particular name, and it is not largely a stock-specific market, but you do have other stocks which are in news today. Vamakshi, take it away.
Absolutely. Shilpa Medicare is on our radar. Shilpa Biologicals has filed its first drug master file of human albumin 20% with the US FDA. IQ Lighting is another counter that is surging in trade today after its arms IQ Solution has commenced commercial production at the Noida factory yesterday. Texmaco Rail has entered into a share purchase agreement with Syra Asia to acquire nearly 51% stake for 9 crores. Concord as well as Shipping Corporation of India are some other counters that we will be watching out for, and that is because both of these companies have inked an MOU. They intend to explore opportunities to leverage each other's infra. They also intend to offer seamless end-to-end logistics services to customers under a single window. Bharat Forge is the next counter we will be watching out for on account of Me Class 8 truck orders. For North America, the truck orders stood at 18,900 units. This is an uptick of almost 35% on a month-on-month basis, and in fact, the Class 8 truck orders have actually risen on a month-on-month basis for the first time since November 2023. KC International bags an order worth almost 1,000 crores in their civil business. And lastly, let's also focus in on GPT Infra because the company has bagged an order worth almost 550 crores from RBNL.
All right, Kamakshi, thanks a lot for that. Those are a bunch of stocks which are on our radar, but at the bottom of your screen, political news will keep the ticker alive. Sources now tell us that Uddhav Thackeray will attend the India block meeting, which will happen this evening at 6, as Parikshit earlier pointed out. He'll be leaving for Delhi by 3 p.m. and that's, again, confirming the possibility of, confirming the fact that he will not be joining the NDA block, as confirmed earlier by Arvind Sawant in a conversation with our colleague Santya as well. What we'll do is take a short break, come back, focus on the markets. We get some trading strategies in by Sudeep Shah. Welcome back. You're watching us here on Halftime Report. We're speaking about rural-focused themes doing well. M&M is up around 6%, and the tractor financier, M&M Financial, also is higher in today's trading session, has moved to the high point with a gain of almost 7%, among the top F&O gainers today as well. And speaking about F&O, it is that time of the day where we give you a setup of what's taking place in that end of the market. There has been a strong recovery, over 1,000 points from the lows on the Nifty bank itself, and that's led the Nifty itself to see a gain of nearly 500 points in today's trading session. So the Nifty bank is leading the rally now. In the first half of trade, it was an underperformer, and as a result of which the Nifty's gains were also limited. And now as we speak, the Nifty is doing well. The mid-cap index is doing a tad better with a gain of almost 3%. And it's the public sector enterprises. If you just pull up the Nifty PSE index, you would see that there is a fair amount of recovery from the lows. The Nifty PSE index actually right now is, has seen a recovery of almost 5% from the lows and just under the red line. For a large part, it was actually in the green line as well. And that off lows move can be, mapped on some of these Adani Group names as well. Like we just pointed out, Adani Ports, Adani Ent, Adani Power, all of them have recovered from lows, though Adani Power is still in the red. At higher levels, closer to 22,400 and between 22,400 and 22,500, there could be some resistance, and that's technical in nature because of the big daily moving averages that we have. The 50-day moving average at 22,422 and 22,497 is the 20-day moving average. And today's high on the Nifty corresponds with these levels itself. And the other thing to track today will be the way India VIX moves. Yesterday, there was a 40% move on the way up. Today, there's a 27% move on the way down. For the market to turn, India VIX will be your lead indicator for that. So today's low on India VIX and where it goes from here will be extremely crucial to track. What are the option writers betting on? They're betting on 22,000 mark for the Nifty to hold on. That's where a lot of put writing is taking place. On the way up, because of the earlier reasons that I pointed out with regards to resistance, 22,400 call is equally active, telling you that levels between 22,420 and 22,500 will continue to face some resistance. Were we to cross that, then there could be a powerful leg of short covering, and that could take us all the way up to 23,000. That's where a lot of call activity is as well. It's a Wednesday. Yes, there are a lot of news pieces, but we forget that it's also weekly options expiry for the Nifty Bank. And for that, the 47,000 mark for the Nifty Bank is extremely crucial. But where we are at right now, close to 48,000 for the Nifty Bank, that also is seeing a lot of call writing. So that's one mark we'll watch out for. In terms of stocks, we have HUL, Marico, GCPL, all the FMCG names seeing a lot of long positions being added. And Container Corp is the only PSE which is actually outperforming and seeing a lot of long positions being added out there as well. So that's one stock that I'll watch out for.
Okay, all right. So that's the FNO setup. Thank you so much for that. But let's get in Sudeep Shah, the head of technical derivatives research at SBI Securities, on the show. Sudeep, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, what are the charts suggesting the next crucial levels on the Nifty?
Good afternoon, Sonal and Mangalam. See, what we are seeing is in the markets today, we have seen a pullback now in the first half, and this is after the largest single-day fall since March 2020 in Nifty yesterday. So even the incoming political statements have soothed the nerves a bit. So now going forward in Nifty, we feel 22,000, 22,100 will act as a strong support, and on the upside, 22,500, 22,600 zone where the 20-day exponential moving average is placed, that could be the most important number, most important resistance that I'm looking at. And only on crossover of that 22,550, 600 mark, the markets would find its feet, and then you'll see at least the sustained up move in the next few sessions. So overall, 22,000 and 22,600 is the range where I'm expecting Nifty to trade with some kind of choppiness. And this is despite we have seen a cool off in India VIX to 19.5 levels. So overall, there could still be choppiness for the next few sessions from a short-term perspective. But from a medium to long-term perspective, I feel a lot of opportunities are there, stock-specific, sector-specific, which could be up for grabs. And that is from a medium to long-term perspective. One more important indicator to watch out for would be the long-short ratio for the next few sessions, because yesterday it was 13, and we need to see that there has to be some improvement in the index futures long-short ratio, and then that would confirm the kind of expectations of short covering in the next few sessions.
Okay, all right. And any stock-specific bets that you have?
Rather than the stock-specific bets, right now there are a few themes that are looking good, and they have been doing well and outperforming in the last few sessions. So from the pharma and the diagnostic space, we like Lalpath Labs and Metropolis. From the auto space, we like TVS Motors, M&M, as well as Ashok Leyland. And from the pharma space, Cipla and Divi's Lab are doing good. So we feel that these individual pockets offer good opportunities at lower levels, and they could be bought from a medium-term perspective.
All right, Sudeep, thanks a lot for that. Meanwhile, there are some visuals coming in on your screen. We'll probably cut to it once we do realize what has been spoken out there. But okay, let's go.
10 साल में मोदी जी ने कोई हिसाब नहीं दिया तो जनता ने उनको सबक सिखाया। तो हम लोग सब लोग आज बैठक में यहाँ आए हैं। 6 बजे हम लोगों की बैठक है और देखते हैं बैठक में क्या सभी लोगों का राय बनाने की कोशिश करेंगे आप लोग, क्योंकि क्लियर मेजॉरिटी कोई पार्टी को नहीं है। अभी हमको लगता है थोड़ा धैर्य रखिए, अभी देखते जाइए क्या क्या होता है। सीएम के साथ आए, कोई बातचीत हुई या कुछ बात भी करेंगे? बात भी सब बात लोगों की नमस्कार प्रणाम दुआ हुई और क्या, लेकिन बाकी क्या होता आगे आगे देखते रहिए। चलिए।
All right, that is Tejasvi Yadav. A lot of mics on his face, but he ended up saying nothing. He said, "Dekhiye kya hota hai baad mein." That's exactly
That's
what
also
everyone...
because Nitish Kumar Yadav and him traveled in the same flight, right, to Delhi. So clearly there are a lot of questions, a lot of debates as to what happens. Will they ask him, Nitish Kumar Yadav, to come in the India Alliance, or what happens? Exactly, again, we are just questioning a lot of Nitish Kumar Yadav. Yeah, so let's do one thing. Let's slip into a short break. On the other side, Jay Kalia of Elara Capital will put focus on the auto sector, which has been buzzing in trade. Welcome back to the CNBC-TV18 HDFC Sky election headquarters, and for the markets continues to be a day where we are seeing some sort of instability right now, but we are seeing a lot of rural-facing stocks doing really well, and we've seen that there could be a possibility of a lot of rural focus as well. The auto stocks continue to be in focus. So let's get in an auto expert. Jay Kalia of Elara Capital is joining us now. Jay, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, first up, I wanted to understand the sense that you saw from the May numbers, the auto numbers, and specific focus on the rural recovery. Are you seeing that in autos as well? Because that's what we've been hearing from the FMCG space.
Yeah, good afternoon. So I think, if you see the May sales, especially wholesales were not that great in terms of two-wheelers and passenger vehicles, but the core underlying retail momentum remained strong, especially for two-wheelers. May also had last year a lot of marriage dates, which this time around were a little preponed in April, and hence the right metric to assess the health of the industry would be to see March plus April plus May on a YOY basis. If we analyze that, we see two-wheelers are still at a healthy growth of around 13% in terms of retail growth, whereas passenger vehicles have lagged in low single digits as such. When I talk about rural versus urban, yes, there have been some green shoots in rural, but it's still not out of the woods. There have been new launches kind of getting some momentum in semi-urban, urban areas as well. So to say that the entire 13% growth is driven by rural as of now for two-wheelers, it would not be the correct thing to say. I think you still have some room going forward for that to recover.
Let's then cut to the chase. If rural recovery is the theme that everyone is pinning their hopes on, especially further accentuated by the results that have come by of the elections, people believe that maybe there will be more money in the hands of people now. And if two-wheeler and entry-level vehicles are something that you're playing, if at all, for that rural recovery, what would your positioning of stocks be? Because some of them have already seen big moves. Case in point, something like a Hero MotoCorp.
Yeah, I think, the entire two-wheeler pack, is benefiting from a confluence of two factors. One, of course, the near-term numbers in the last 3 months have been pretty healthy. The results of Q4 on the margin side, earnings side have also been pretty good. And to add to the fact that, with these election results, the narrative shifting more towards some bit of, boost to the rural sector is playing out quite well in terms of the valuations of the companies as well. Consumption, if you see over here, autos and especially two-wheelers are coming from a low base of, if you see the industry, it's still not reached the FY19 volume peaks as an industry. So, the price increases that happened in the last 3-4 years are kind of normalizing. And now, the rural bit should pick up going forward. So it's a perfect confluence of near-term numbers looking good, as well as the narrative of multiples on the rural side aiding these stocks. So in the two-wheeler space, we are positive on TVS, Bajaj and Hero. And in the passenger vehicle space, we like Maruti and M&M.
Okay, that's about two-wheelers. Jay, tell us about the passenger vehicle segment. And also, are you seeing that pickup in EVs that everyone has been talking about? Or do you think that is plateaued right now and will take some time to grow back again?
Yeah, I think coming to your second question, first on the EV side, we are seeing some bit of plateauing in terms of EV penetration. It's close to around that 2.2% odd as we stand. One also has to realize the fact that there have not been meaningful launches on the EV side till now. I mean, we've got a few models from Tata and Mahindra, but a slew of launches are expected to come in the next 12 to 18 months, which should take the EV penetration higher from here. But of course, it'll still be in single digits in the next 2 to 3 years at least. And then probably by FY 28 to 30 should move to closer to double-digit EV penetration. But if I have to talk of the current momentum, it's still a little muted because of the lack of new models for EVs, and a large part of the early adopters have adopted the EV penetration side.
All right, let's wrap it up finally then from EVs to CVs and agri vehicles. What are your thoughts here? I mean, there's a big delta on offer in commercial vehicles as well as tractors, etc. So how are you playing that place?
Yes, I think tractors we've seen a down cycle in FY24. We saw negative growth. In the recent con calls of commentaries of M&M and Escorts, they both mentioned of a mid-single digit kind of growth for FY25. So we are expecting growth in FY25 for the tractor side. On the CV side, CV is a pretty tricky on a tricky wicket, given that it is a cyclical industry. But the overhang of the elections to a certain extent have now moved away. But we are more positive on the next 2 to 3 year perspective. We would be more positive on tractor growth than CV growth.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Jay, so much for joining us today and taking us through the auto space and what is looking good there and what are the demand trends like as well. We'll do one thing, we'll sip on a short break. When we come back, we'll focus on FMCG stocks. They are the big buzzers in trade today. We'll discuss more on that.
Hello and welcome. You're watching us here on CNBC-TV18 HDFC Sky Election Headquarters. We're talking about all things election. One of the beneficiaries of the outcome of the election have been FMCG stocks. In fact, over the last 2 trading sessions itself, the FMCG sector has seen a big move. The FMCG index is up around 4% today. And if you look at it, in the last 2 days itself, it's seen a gain of almost 8.5%, taking its monthly gains to 6%, making it the best monthly performing index for the month so far, which has seen just about 3 trading sessions. The reason for that, there are 6 of them, and the most important one in terms of a trigger came in just yesterday. The election results outcome, focus on rural shops, support and flight to safety, all of that helping. That's the value plus that we're talking about in FMCG. Goldman Sachs has raised their staples weight on likely rural support. MK has suggested a swift switch from PSUs and capital goods into FMCG. Jefferies has said they're overweight private banks, consumer staples, auto OEMs. So consumer staples is now suddenly finding its way into brokerage recommendations. HDFC, for instance, as well, is clubbing consumer staples with IT and Pharma as they look reasonably valued. And irrespective of this trigger, the underlying fundamentals of FMCG had started to turn in the 4th quarter itself, where there were green shoots of rural recovery, as pointed out by the managements of HUL. Dabur said their rural business grew 2 times urban. Britannia said good monsoon, contained inflation bodes well for rural recovery. And Marico too expected rural recovery in FY25. And on the back of this, these companies had started projecting for double-digit growth. And that was a welcome change in a sector which was parched for growth over the last couple of years. So Dabur is targeting high single-digit volume growth with double-digit revenue growth. Britannia gunning for top-line growth in FY25, which is double-digit. And Marico too expecting double-digit revenue growth in FY25. Amidst all of this, inflation was contained. So margin improvement that these companies had made over the last 1 year or so is expected to sustain because one, RM pressures or raw material pressures have abated, and ad spends that these companies had to take, they had taken it already. So they've been ramped up, no further delta coming in out there. And underlying all of this, the urban consumption has not abated either. So the premiumization trend continues, where HUL, Britannia, Marico, all of them saw premium products do a lot better than the average portfolio of the company as well. Clubbed with all of this was a lot of underperformance in the space that we saw. The last 12 months should show you, the FMCG index was up just 14%. And this includes the 2 days of gains that we saw in the last couple of days. BSE cap goods up 63%, whereas the PSE index was up 90%, telling you that, the FMCG stocks hadn't participated in the rally that we've seen. Some of these stocks were actually at levels that we saw last in 2019 and 2020 itself. And even if you take a look at the gain that we saw on HUL in the last 2 trading sessions, adjust for that, the stock is up just 1% in the last 12 months. And the others are also underperforming the Nifty and the Nifty FMCG index. So all of this put together led to a big rally in the FMCG stocks. The question is whether it sustains or not, and at what point do we see growth actually come by. With that, we'll take a short break. On the other side, we speak about all things commodities, focus on the agri space, foods, etc. Manisha joins in with the president at Indian Chambers of Food and Agriculture. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, and joining us on the show now is Mr. M.J. Khan. He's Chairman and President at the India Chamber of Food and Agriculture. Mr. Khan, hi, thank you for joining us. First things first, and the street is anticipating the Kharif MSP to be announced pretty soon. I mean, the street has been waiting for the new government to come in. I'll come to that in a bit, but what's your sense on the MSP? Because the street also expect that we could be looking at an 8 to 10% of an increase in MSP when it comes to some of these pulses.
I think it has got to be there because the government's first priority will be to reduce dependence on imports. Therefore, consistent increase in MSP till the time that domestic production catches up and reduces the gap of the demand and supply. So therefore, reducing the dependence on the imports. So I believe that 8 to 10% is very logical expectation and I think realistic. And therefore, we should look forward to that.
Mr. Khan, also, as the street is awaiting and working with the sense that we're looking at a coalition government, and I spoke to you earlier as well on what are the kind of agri reforms that we could see going forward. Does anything change with the kind of coalition government we are working with, and where do you see a major thrust now coming in when you look at this sector?
I think there will be greater push to the agriculture reforms and overall agriculture agenda. The reason is very simple, that all the allies that are likely to be on board are focused on farmers. So they have their constituency more in rural areas, including Chandrababu Naidu, whose focus used to be urban and IT and services sector till the capital was in Hyderabad. Once he moved to Amravati, which means his last chief minister's period, and now that will start very clearly today. In fact, he's in Delhi. I'm likely to meet him also. Nitish Kumar also. So all the allies and the smaller allies also, I think they are all, quite a bit focused on rural vote bank and sensitized about the needs of the agriculture. But BJP itself will be more committed because this time BJP got lesser votes from the rural areas compared to the urban areas. So therefore, slightly more tilt to focusing on farmers' issues and agenda, and therefore the agri-related reforms. So whatever can make good for agriculture and farmers' incomes, I think coalition government will be focused more on that.
Within this as well, Mr. Khan, where do you see a major thrust coming in? Is it going to be about the legality of MSP, minimum guarantee price, or do you think crop diversification? We've seen a lot of missions being introduced by the BJP government as well. And then there is this talk about sustainability, technology, and more farmer-centric rather than agri-centric. Where do you see a major push?
I think having burnt its fingers in the agri reforms, 3 bills that were brought, and therefore going into that legalities and that part, probably party may be avoiding, but increasing the investment and getting the reforms done through the states. Model code is likely to be circulated on marketing reforms, which means it needs to be encouraged to adopt that instead of centrally sponsored any reforms in agriculture, which we faced, crisis kind of situation for almost a year and more, and even now partly. So therefore, this is one part of it, that model reforms act to be circulated to the states. This is quite a strong possibility, broadly containing all that was introduced 3 years back. But then increasing the investment in the post-harvest infrastructure, value addition, agri-businesses, market developments and trade and so on. So this is the second part of it. And third is, of course, the production side of it, because this climate change related issues, so therefore sustainability of agriculture. So little more investment on climate resilient agriculture's production system. But equally important is that pulses, where we are importing about 5 million tons and the oil seed about 10 million tons plus. So I think how to reduce that. And there were a couple of missions launched on that. It is possible that CSR spending of the corporates, what we saw, Tata Trust making 5 crores contribution to the Indian Institute of Pulses Research, it is more encouragement of the PSUs to increase their spending on agriculture research. That is also quite possible. So while on the production side, these 2 crops will be focused, but overall the sustainability of the agriculture production system in light of the context of the climate change, that has got a greater agenda. And third is ideological, which is organic farming, natural farming, which this government has been wedded to. Last 8 years' time, we saw a lot of thrust given. But most important is, of course, increasing the role of corporates in agriculture, post-production set of activities, with the three bills we do. So through the route of states, probably this is going to be possible.
Fair point on that, Mr. Khan. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, that's the detailed of what we can expect in sense of agriculture reforms from the new government that would be sworn in pretty soon. As he said, the coalition governments or the new states that are coming in now have a thrust in any case in sense of rural India, and that's exactly where the voting share also has been lower. So there could be some more reforms coming in that direction, especially when it comes to farmers' welfare. We'll, of course, watch out for that. But with that, that's all the time that we have on Halftime Report. Business Lunch will take all the action forward.